Hey, I'm, hold on. I'm gonna try to say this in a way that makes sense because the idea is bubbling in here. I'm watching a video. Oh, it's TED. 4 Hard Truths About Capitalism and Climate. And the guy's talking about climate change. And, you know, I'm just kind of thinking that, um, there are probably still some people that just don't want to acknowledge that climate change is happening. And people talk about, and the guy was just talking about externalities on here and on the video. And I think you kind of do have to grant climate change as a natural, as a given, if you are going to assume that Earth is a planet and not like, you know, like a flat thing that isn't a planet and space doesn't exist, um, and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, if Earth is a planet and we're, burning fossil fuels and stuff, burning stuff makes heat, and heat and carbon and smoke. And I mean, it all goes somewhere. It doesn't, according to physics, it doesn't like, look at my cig. It doesn't just magically go somewhere. I mean, some people might think that, but it doesn't fade into nothingness. It goes somewhere. Every bit of heat from this cigarette disperses into the atmosphere and sort of makes it warmer. I mean, it kind of doesn't, but it sort of does. Um, so if you had 100 trillion people smoking cigarettes in the state of Texas, that would make the entire state a lot fucking warmer. I mean, now you can do other mind experiments like that. We have however many cars throughout the world, probably, I don't know, more than 10 million, somewhere between 10 and 100 million, maybe more than 100 million. Yeah, fuel burning cars operating still all over the world. And they blow out gas, but they also generate heat. And then there's all sorts of other things that generate heat. So there's all of that, all of those processes that are generating more heat. There's all this extra heat in addition to that from that fuel being consumed. And you have to work this over in your brain as a person. And just kind of, once you have just that kind of a rudimentary understanding of like physics and stuff, and just kind of, it's one person and it's a million people and it's a billion people doing all the things they do, plus having all the stuff, but plus that stuff requires mining, processing, transport, and all of that mining, processing, and transport requires all the fuel. So, all that mining, processing, transport, and the fuel for that generates output of gases and heat. So physics says that heat and those gases go somewhere. They don't just disappear. So, I mean, how can you say climate change doesn't exist? Of course it exists. It would exist if we only had 1,000 people driving cars. It would exist. It would just be so marginal, it wouldn't even matter, because the planet is so big, it wouldn't even impact anything. But we don't have only 1,000 cars doing it with only one factory and only 100,000 people. We have the worldwide scale of 8.5, 9 billion people doing all of the crap that they're doing and buying all of the crap that they're buying constantly, over and over and over again. And all of the people who are fascinated with capitalism constantly preaching growth, 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 growth. We've got to have more growth. We have to have more growth. We gotta have more growth. Well, I mean, maybe you can do growth in certain ways, but maybe you could do growth without mining, for one thing, because mining is shitty. You could do growth without extracting more fossil fuels and consuming more fossil fuels. I, for one, suggest synthetic fossil fuels, because then that means you're creating a closed loop. If you extract what you need from the system itself and create the fossil fuels from the system, from everything that's already out here, and then make the fossil fuels from what's already out here, and then burn them You're not extracting them from the ground. There's no net gain in uh, carbon dioxide emissions, for one thing, and there would not be any gain in methane emissions. And, then you get into the whole synthetic beef and synthetic chicken, blah, blah, blah. But that's an entirely different issue. You don't even really need that, other than, if I may be so blunt, killing animals is kind of wrong nowadays. Don't really need to. I do, because I don't have any teeth yet. Ugh, I forgot to call. Forgot to do that. Call for my ride. But again, yeah, that's just on my point of climate change is kind of obvious. It's a natural extension of just understanding physics. It's obvious that it's going to happen. If you take that stuff out of, out of being sequestered inside the planet, then there it is. But, it does offer the opportunity to, if we want, change the landscape of the earth. We could take change some of the deserts on the earth and make them rainforests if we want to. Or if not rainforests, just forested land. There's the option there. So, whatever. Anyways, tax rich people, kneecap them, and boobs.